everyone, I'm Miss Mary Beth. I'm the Youth Services Librarian at Ingalls Memorial Library in Ringe, and I'm here today for our very first Chapter Friday. And I'm super excited because I'm going to use First Chapter Friday to introduce you to more middle grade novels. Every Friday, I'm going to read the first chapter of a book. Maybe sometimes the first 2 chapters, but for this one, it's going to be just the first one. And I'm hoping that by reading the first chapter to you, it's going to get you really excited, and it's going to make you want to read the rest of the book. It's going to be like a little taste, and then you'll want to come to the library and check out the whole book for you to read it at home. And today's first chapter book that we're reading is The Explorer by Katherine Rundell. And middle grade novels are great, and this one in particular is going to be a good one. This was nominated for the Great Stone-Faced Book Award. Do you know what that award is? That's every year 20 middle grade novels are nominated here in our state, here in New Hampshire. And all the kids in New Hampshire get to vote for their favorite. So this was nominated. And this one is a fun adventure book. So I'll read you the flap cover so you kind of know what it's about. From his seat in the tiny airplane, Fred watches the mysteries of the Amazon jungle pass by below him. He has always dreamed of becoming an explorer, of reading his name among the lists of great adventurers. If only he could land and look about him. As the plane smashes into the canopy, Fred is suddenly left without a choice. He and 3 other children may be alive, but the jungle is a vast, untamed place. With no hope of getting rescued, the chance of getting home feels terrifyingly small. Except, it seems, someone has been there before them. So join me as I read the very first chapter of The Explorer by Katherine Rundell. It's a short chapter, but it's a good one. It's called Flight. Like a man-made magic wish, the airplane began to rise. The boy sitting in the cockpit gripped his seat and held his breath as the plane roared and climbed into the arms of the sky. Fred's jaw was set with concentration, and his fingers followed the movements of the pilot beside him. Fuel gauge, throttle, joystick. The airplane vibrated as it flew faster, following the swerve of the Amazon River below them. Fred could see the reflection of the 6-seater plane, a spot of black on the vast sweep of blue as it sped toward Manas, the city on the water. He brushed his hair out of his eyes, and he pressed his forehead against the window. Behind Fred sat a girl and her little brother. They had the same slanted eyebrows and the same brown skin, and the same long eyelashes. The girl had been shy, hugging her parents until the last possible moment at the airfield. Now she was staring down at the water, singing under her breath. Her brother was trying to eat his seatbelt. In the next row, on her own, sat a pale girl with blonde hair down to her waist. Her blouse had a neck ruffle that came up to her chin, and she kept tugging it down and grimacing. She was determinedly not looking out the window. The airfield they had just left had been dusty and almost deserted, just a strip of tarmac under the ferocious Brazilian sun. Fred's cousin had insisted that he wear his school uniform, and now, inside the hot, airless cabin, Fred felt like he was being gently cooked inside his own skin. The engine gave a whine, and the pilot frowned and tapped the joystick. He was old and soldierly, with brisk nostril hair and a gray waxed mustache that seemed to reject the usual laws of gravity. He touched the throttle, and the plane soared upward, higher into the clouds. It was almost dark when Fred first began to worry. The pilot began to belch, first quietly, then violently, and repeatedly. His hand gave a sudden jerk, and the plane dipped drunkenly to the left. Someone screamed behind Fred. The plane lurched away from the river and over the canopy. Fred stared at the man. He was turning the same shade of gray as his mustache. "Are you all right, sir?" asked Fred. The pilot grunted, gasped, and wound back the throttle, slowing the engine. He gave a cough that sounded like a choke. "Is there something I can do?" asked Fred. Fighting for breath, the pilot shook his head. He reached over to the control panel and cut the engine. The roar ceased. The nose of the plane dipped downward. The trees rose up. "What's happening?" asked the blonde girl sharply. "What's he doing? Make him stop!" The little boy in the back began to shriek. The pilot grasped Fred's wrist hard for a single moment. Then his head slumped against the dashboard. And the sky, which had seconds before seemed so reliable, gave way. And that is the end of chapter 1. Oh my goodness. Their plane is crashing. What's going to happen? Are they going to survive? Are they going to live in the jungle by themselves? What happened to the pilot? I don't know, but I'm really interested. I want to read the rest of it myself. So if you enjoyed the first chapter and you want to find out more, it ended on a pretty good cliffhanger. Are they going to land in the water? Are they going to go crashing through the trees? I just don't know. You'll have to come to the library yourself and check it out. And you can finish up reading The Explorer by Katherine Rundell. Thanks for joining me for our very first Chapter Friday. Have a fun weekend.